Hey everyone, my name's James and today I'm going to talk to you about the Blackmagic eGPU, its benefits and whether it's going to be a worthy purchase for somebody like yourself who has a MacBook Pro. Obviously I don't know if you do have a MacBook Pro, but I'm assuming you do because why else would you be watching this video? Okay, so let's start with my biggest issue with the current MacBook Pro without an external graphics card. I wanted to run this 4K LG monitor up here, so it's a Sony 65-inch 4K monitor, as well as my 5K 27-inch LG monitor. Usually what happened was you had to get these things, the dongles with HDMI output, and it was just a pain in the ass. It just never worked properly whatsoever. I couldn't get 4K 60 Hertz. You had to have a separate power adapter for this for it to work at all, so you couldn't just plug the HDMI and the Thunderbolt 3 in. You also had to have power, and there was also USB there, or standard USB 2 or USB-B. And so I found myself going, all right, you can either use the LG monitor or you can use the 65-inch monitor. It never really worked for both. I found a little hack way that I could get them both to work, but involved having to unplug one and then plug the other one in and then plug the other one in again, and then it would work. But as soon as something happened, you'd lose one of the monitors, and it was quite frustrating considering the Apple said it was perfectly capable of driving 2 external monitors. It's obviously not. Maybe that was just for Thunderbolt 3 monitors, I'm not sure. Regardless of the situation, I wanted to solve that problem so I could use this big screen up here for playback of videos while I'm doing editing, and use the MacBook and the 27-inch screen for the editing screens and vector scopes and whatnot. Now, purchasing the Blackmagic eGPU, it comes with 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports, it comes with an HDMI output that supports 4K 60 Hertz, and it also comes with, I think, 4 USB-B size ports. And so for me, that was a massive, massive bonus because it meant I got rid of 1, 2, 3, 4. I got rid of 4 of these stupid dongles, and I've just plugged all of that stuff into the back of the eGPU. Bang, everything's solved. Now, solving the TV issue, because of the HDMI output of the eGPU, I could simply plug that thing in, the monitor works, I enabled the enhanced HDMI setting in the Sony settings, and now I've got 4K 60 Hertz. It runs nearly flawlessly, there's a bit of a delay still, but I can live with it for playback or video playback. There's probably not a chance, I'll maybe watch videos on it, like Netflix, YouTube, stuff like that. But there would be no chance that you are going to be gaming on something like this. The latency between what happens and when it comes up on the screen, it's just rubbish. What else does this thing solve? It solved my connectivity issues in terms of getting rid of all these dongles and plugs and bits and pieces. It solved my dual monitor output issues. The next problem that it has solved, or maybe hasn't really solved, but is gaming. Now, I'm a bit of a gamer. I play a bit of World of Warcraft, some Diablo, some Fortnite, and I actually went to the extent of building a PC, which is just here, instead of running it on my MacBook Pro. Now, obviously there's a massive difference between a built PC and a MacBook Pro. You've got massive power supply differences, you've got graphics cards, processors, water cooling, all of that stuff. So for what the Mac actually does in this tiny little compact laptop, is quite incredible compared to what you're going to get with a built PC that's, giant, tower, everything else. If you are anything like the previous me who didn't end up getting a PC to game on separately, then the Blackmagic eGPU with an external monitor makes an astounding difference for games. I'll use World of Warcraft as an example. I could previously only run probably about settings maybe 3 or 4 and drop 3 or 4 out of 10 on the quality setting, and at like a 2560 by 1440 size. Although this screen runs it bigger, for whatever reason, if you're trying to run at 5K, it just simply can't render the graphics fast enough to enable you to, it just gets screen tearing and jittering, and it just becomes basically unplayable. At least in comparison to, watching 144 Hertz refresh rate and 11 gig graphics card from a PC. So I did a few little tests. I'm now able to run on this LG screen 5K at maximum graphics settings, but the frame rate is still quite low. I think from memory it was about under 30 FPS, which, if you're a gamer, that's basically just rubbish, almost unplayable. So what I've done with this is I've dropped it down to 2560 by 1440, and set the graphics at 10 out of 10, and it plays back at, you know, about an average of maybe 60 frames a second. And then when you're into like some heavy fast motion, if you're raiding or you're playing Fortnite, for example, and you've got a lot of players doing lots of things in that physical space, then obviously the frame rates are going to drop. So you can comfortably run, you know, almost any game that I've tried on this, and the graphics is drastically improved, like phenomenal in comparison to what you're getting out of the MacBook Pro. So if you've got a desktop MacBook Pro like I do, then it's definitely a worthwhile cause. Video editing. Now, I do a lot of video editing these days. Basically a freelance videographer. I wonder how well the eGPU would actually improve my workflow with video editing and photo editing. And to an extent, it's almost useless because the majority of the rendering processes, export processes with Final Cut Pro, they all use the internal Intel CPU. Now, anything that you're actually using on the screen, if I'm playing back something like this, the scrubbing, it's a dramatic improvement over what it was previously. Okay, so just to wrap it up, if you're doing video editing, it's not going to give you a massive boost in productivity, but it will help your scrubbing, it will help your playback, and obviously if you're doing multi-clips, it will help doing that as well. If you're gaming, it's definitely a bonus, but of course you need the external monitor, which means for something on the fly like a laptop, it's not really that helpful. For connectivity boost and productivity and connectivity in general, this sort of stuff, it works very well. And so is it really worth $1,200? That's the big question. I would say probably not, but if it was maybe $800 to $900, that's probably a fair bit more realistic. That's it for me today. If you like this video, hit subscribe, give me a like, comment if you want to see something different next time, and we'll catch you in the next one.